Welcome back to the 2016 Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame selection show. I'm here with the newest Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame member, the inductee, Matt Upton from the class of 2002. Matt.
Tom.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, yes. It's a great thing.
Yeah, I get a lot of pleasure in doing these sorts of events for Jesuit, particularly when it's an athlete who I got to watch firsthand. I got over here in 1998, that football season with Jack Fitzsimmons, calling games on the radio, and I remember that was your freshman year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a lot of great football games where we called the name Matt Upton. You were on the interior of the offensive line, but you were a heck of a player, played center, and those were great years, weren't they?
Oh, it was great. I guess even ever since I was probably 7th, 8th grade, and you were coming up to Jesuit and you'd watch all the games, it's kind of what you thought about, was getting out there in the field. And then I was lucky enough to get my name called a few times on the radio, so my parents could hear it. I couldn't hear it, but it was good to know that us big boys were getting a little bit of attention.
Absolutely. Well, you were an excellent, outstanding football player, but you were not just a football player. You did a lot more here at Jesuit in the athletic arena. You were a great rugby player, and you, of course, were a great wrestler. And I want to tell the people that are watching right now a little bit about you. You've got some notes here. First of all, when it came to wrestling, you were a two-time state champion.
Yep.
You remember the 2001 team that won the team state championship under Coach Halloran. In rugby, under Coach Matta, who I know you're very close to. You were also all-state 2 times in rugby as well?
We won state once, and then I was on the state all-star team for 2 years.
The state all-star team for 2 years. I'm going to call that all-state. But that was great. So literally, here we have a guy, ladies and gentlemen that are watching this, Matt Upton, one of the nicest guys. It really embodies, I think, what Jesuit stands for in so many ways. But an outstanding football player, but perhaps even better in rugby and in wrestling. And three-sport star athlete. Talk to us about what it was like to get the call that said you were going to be a member of the 2016 Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame class.
Well, I got the call from Matta and from Kenny on just a random Tuesday night, I think, right after it happened. And it's when you get the call, it changes so much about your mentality of it. Going into it, when you know that you're kind of nominated, your name's being tossed out, you think about how your individual stats stand up against everybody else that's been in, and if you think you can, did you do enough? Was it good enough? And then the minute you get the call, it changes to your mind goes so far away from individuality, and it goes straight to, I need to call everybody that has anything to do with this, because you realize that everything that you did, whether it's on the field or on the mat, was because of the people that Jesuit surrounded you with. And, I was very blessed to have a great wrestling team for 4 years, and a great wrestling coach, and a great rugby team, and a great rugby coach that prepared me to do what I did.
Well, you just mentioned Kenny was part of the call. You were talking about Kenny Halloran, who was a member of the 2015 Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame class and was a great wrestler in his own right, and his father was your coach.
Yes.
Talk about the impact that Coach Halloran had on you as a coach.
I think the best thing is that he taught you how to work, and he taught you how you could get out whatever you put into something. Wrestling's not an easy sport. It's extremely taxing. It's very time-consuming. There's a lot of early mornings and a lot of late nights, and what he just kind of pushed you is that there's no such thing as what you can't accomplish. You can accomplish whatever, you just have to put the work in. And he made sure that you put the work in.
Talked to another person that was on that call when you got the good news that you were going to be inducted. We call him affectionately Coach Matta, Anthony Mattacchione, and talk about what impact he had on you in the rugby arena.
Matta really embodies, I think, what we as a school are really trying to build students towards. Matta's been there for me since the day I met him. I met him as a PE coach one spring. He was my PE coach, and so the last 3 weeks, I guess, of my Jesuit career, where I didn't have a sport to do. And ever since then, he's been a huge member of my life. He's let me live in his house when my parents moved. When I was in college, so I could come back to Dallas. He continues to support me in in all of my endeavors, and really looks out for me and for everybody. I know he has all the kids. You know, he's in constant contact with them. He knows what's going on with their families. He's, you know, I think he's one of the best acquisitions the school's ever had.
Matt, you remember the class of 2002. It's now 2016, so you're still young compared to an old-timer like myself, but you have still continued to play rugby.
Still continue in my, well, probably not my last year, but I think it's kind of getting to the twilight of my career. I've been lucky. I've traveled across the world and traveled across the country playing. Won a national championship. Got MVP for that. Been surrounded by some great people. So it was really great to kind of come back home to Dallas to kind of let my career kind of wind down and get away from the field for a little bit and start moving into coaching and moving in that towards that direction.
We started off the interview with Matt Upton from the class of 2002. We were talking about you're an excellent offensive lineman, center. Got your name called on the radio a few times by Coach Fitzsimmons and myself, and that means you stood out to us. And we always like to give the offensive linemen their credit because really it all starts up front. But talk about the football coaches. Talk about Coach Wunderlich, your position coach, whoever you want to talk about.
I was lucky enough. I got to play under Coach Wunderlich, which was great because I'd known of the Wunderlich family for a while. Julie Wunderlich was in my class at St. Monica, and I was around the Wunderlich family at the community pools that we were members of. So being able to play for him was great. I had Bob Moyette as my offensive line coach for like 3 years, and then I had who now is the he's now the famous coach here. I had Brandon Hickman his first couple of years here at Jesuit, which was great. I think the best memory I had of football was senior year. I think it was our senior year when he told us that he could, you know, his wife may go into labor. So if we see him just sprinting down the stands, don't worry and everything will be okay. And he ran out of those stands, and we were all just cheering for him, knowing that why he took off.
I remember that day very well. I was standing there, and he had to go right behind Coach Fitzsimmons and I on his way out of the booth, and he was down those stairs very quickly. And of course, he's done an outstanding job as the head football coach. But as you said, was an outstanding offensive line coach. You know, I've been involved with the Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame really since its inception. I've been lucky enough to MC the event, been able to sit down and have these fireside chats like we're doing right now to introduce you to the Jesuit community. Let me ask you about what Jesuit itself, beyond the athletic arena, has meant to you.
It's hard to quantify exactly how amazing or how much of an impact Jesuit has, especially on us athletes. When we came into Jesuit, I came into Jesuit in a very transitional period. It was when TCIL had just broken up, and UIL had not admitted us. So we were literally playing sports for sports like football, we had no state championship, and so for the smaller sports, we knew that it was on us to help get the name out there, and this school embodies a lot of what it means to really be a man, to work hard, to understand that what you do affects the people around you. And wrestling-wise, and in rugby as well, it was very much we played for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. And I think when it comes to the school, that's kind of how they teach you to live your life, is that it's not about you, it is about what you do for the people around you to make life better for them, and how can you share your talents to make everything better around you?
Well, you know, I guess the reason I made that prelude about having been so involved in the Sports Hall of Fame is that I've always been struck by the outstanding athletes that have been inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame, how to a man they share a vision of Jesuit very similar to what you just shared. It's a special place indeed. You were a special athlete, and the Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame is very lucky to have you, Matt Upton, from the class of 2002. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to May 7th when Matt Upton and the other inductees will formally become members of the Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame. If you haven't bought your tickets, you can still do that. You can get a hold of Sean McMullen, 972-387-8700, and he'll get you hooked up for the big banquet on May the 7th, 2016. Matt Upton will be there. We'll be back with our next Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame inductee right after this.